Hi guys, today I'm gonna show you the Met King, the project behind the track, and just maybe describe how I made it, the thought process behind it, and stuff like that. So yeah, and let me preface this with this is not a tutorial, so I won't be going like super deep into everything, but just give you a general overview of like how I made the track. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So this intro really is like nothing special, not really sure what to say here. Just some pads and yeah, like pretty much every single intro I do. The first interesting sound is this one, and it's just some like distorted bass from Keep Forest, and of course the breathing. Here we like introduce some drums slowly. I think this is Damage 2 and LA Modern Percussion, and nothing special, just like some up close drums. This sound maybe is a bit interesting. And basically it's I think it's some sort of like metal thing. Wait, let's see without effects. Yeah, and then I just basically just like pitched it down a lot and added some reverb on it, so then it sounds like this. It does kind of like set the tone pretty well, I think. So yeah. I think actually the first thing I did in this track was this intro, because it's so it sets the tone pretty well, I think, and just because of that I knew in which direction I want to take this track pretty much. So then I made this like first part or like build. So here we have like strings. I basically just wanted some like really up close strings that drive the rhythm of the track, and yeah, so I think they work pretty well. Then we have this. I mean, it's a massive cello. Maybe not only a cello, but I'm not sure. It's from Metropolis Arc 3. And I use it in literally every single track. So if you listen carefully, you can always hear it somewhere. Then of course we have this, one of my favorite sounds. And this is basically again some sort of screeching metal. Yeah, and then I just basically pitch it down, and some distortion, reverb, just some EQ, and yeah, you get something like this. Yeah. Then the drums here become a bit more prominent. Just doing like a little, I don't know what this is called, maybe like a march thing, whatever. Some like pulses from Keep Forest, just to drive the rhythm even more. And what else? Not that, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Another like metal weird kind of thing. I like putting sounds like these ones into my tracks because they make the track more interesting, but also like set the tone. And yeah, you can hear them a lot in my tracks. Then basically the track is slowly just building, adding elements like some more like percussion stuff. Everybody kept asking me like, what is this rising choir or whatever you have in your track? And basically it's nothing special. It's just basically a choir singing, doing like a staircase. I don't know what this thing is called, but yeah. It fills the space pretty well, and it makes you feel like it's constantly rising, even though it's only like adding notes. So yeah, and this choir is Oceania and Requiem, which I use like all the time. Yeah, some more like risers, some like synth riser, and then we come to the main part, which is a bit more, actually not that different now that I look at it. Maybe a bit. So the main thing here, I would say, is this like brass. And this is just a lot of layers, basically. Cinebrass, trailer brass, Metropolis arc brass. This is, I think, again Metropolis arc, and this is Keep Forest and Talos. So basically just a lot of layers, and that's the key, I guess, to achieving a really big sound. Unfortunately, there's no other way, at least I don't think there is. In trailer music, you just have to layer a lot, and that doesn't mean that you just layer everything that you have, but you have to be a little bit smart about it, and layer stuff that complements each other. So yeah, this is the brass, the low brass. which at the start of the main part actually drives the melody, I guess. I'm not even sure if this is a melody. It's more like a, oh, whatever. Then we have the same cello as in the first part, just helping the brass and playing the same melody, and some just some like simple synths and a piano. Again, another layer. And then we have the drums, which, wait, I think I need to turn this on. And this, and this, and this, and this. Again, nothing really that special, not even that many layers. For drums, I usually use like maybe 10, 15 layers. We have some taikos, we have some ensemble drums. What is this? Some action strikes, some Hans Zimmer percussion, just a regular drum kit, and LA Modern percussion, which is my favorite drum library. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe, yeah, some more low strings, staccato strings, and that's it, I guess, at the start of the main part. Oh yeah, and this this like little piano here that actually I didn't even know was here, and you probably didn't also. So then I added some like staccato strings, and I remember I already had like this melody with the brass for the main part, and I was trying to find like a good melody for the staccato strings, and I remember, I think I was playing like some melodies, and then I just decided, well, what if I don't play a melody? What if I just like do some like dissonant sounding pattern? I don't know how to describe it. And I think I just randomly played these two notes. I think it's just D and C sharp. And it actually sounded really good on top of this brass section, and I just like kept it, and yeah, I think it worked really well. And then we introduced the main melody, I guess you could call it, which is a just like a Metropolis Arc 3, I think, horn, and also this is 10 horns, trailer brass, yeah. And I'm not even sure why I used this synth here. I guess I guess at the time it made sense, but of course as a layer, but I don't know, like maybe I probably like placed it here and then forgot about it. And yeah. As you can see, I actually don't introduce that many new elements in the main part. Most of these elements have already been playing before, so you kind of like get used to them. But definitely, you know, the drums start playing at like the highest velocities, and the strings also like go pretty crazy. Even though I see that I didn't really bother with velocities much here. But yeah, and then we come to this like little break section. And basically what's happening here is that I have this piano that's playing the melody of the second main part and kind of like introducing it to the listener. And again, the my favorite sound. You can see like the pulses still playing, and we have this like great transition. This clock thing is actually I recorded this, I don't know how many years ago, but basically it's you know, when you're like cooking eggs and you have like that that timer, you know, that you turn. Basically, it was like super crispy, a really great clock sound, even though it's not a clock. So I just sampled it, and I put the stereo enhancer on it, and basically it's just delaying one side, so it creates the Haas effect, which makes the sound sound a lot more stereo. Whatever. This is a again Spitfire solo strings, doing like a really tight spiccato violin sound. And one interesting thing here is that this cello that I used before, like it goes so low that it runs out of notes, basically, and I had to manually record it and then pitch it down. And yeah, this happens a lot in my tracks usually, so then I have to find like a workaround. So, you know. And I'm not sure what this thing is doing here. But okay, I probably forgot to remove it, but yeah. So again, like just, you know, slowly building until the second main part. So this second main part, I remember, gave me a lot of trouble. And if you don't want this track to be spoiled for you, just close your ears. But I don't really like it. I think it's kind of a bit of a letdown, because I remember that I wrote like the first section, then I wrote the first main part, and I needed a second main part, but it was like really hard to go even bigger than the first one, but still like keeping it interesting and not the same. So in the end, I just went with like this. I mean, I don't know, like very different descending brass chord progression. And yeah, in terms of like elements or just like instruments, not many new ones. I have like a solo violin here, some like choir, and the reason it's exported into audio is because my previous PC couldn't handle this second main part. So yeah, then we have this. It's basically the same horn as before, the same lead as before, strings, drums, just spiccato violin, cello. Yeah, I basically no new elements except for these horns. And yeah, not much else actually. Basically, then it just like keeps repeating the same chords and melody, and yeah, then it like kind of builds into an ending. Nothing special. This ending, I think, is pretty neat. Again, the same sound as before. We have the like, and the drums, the same cello as before, the spiccato, this is nothing, and just some like low boom. And that's actually it for this track. In terms of layers, definitely not that many. For my standards, I usually layer a lot more. But I guess this track didn't really need that many layers. It had a quite interesting idea, I think. Unintentionally, of course. When I started writing it, I just knew that I wanted to take it in a maybe more. At first, I thought like some Middle Eastern direction, but then I guess it didn't really go there. So it does have kind of a weird vibe, though. Definitely different than my other tracks. But you guys seem to like it a lot. Yeah. So, I mean, that's great. And yeah, this second main part, though, I don't know. It's just not my thing, I guess. I might actually rewrite it one day, maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. But it's interesting that tracks that I don't really like that much, like this one. Okay, let's say I don't like the second main part. I like the first part and this first main part, but Mad King and, for example, Where Is Your God Now, was also a track that I didn't really like that much. Maybe the first part has an interesting idea, uh, but then the main part of Where Is Your God Now is, I also had like the same issue as here. It was like really hard to make something in that specific chord progression. But yeah, I don't know why it's my most successful track pretty much. So you never know. It's really weird when you make these tracks, and then for some tracks you're like super sure everybody's gonna like this. This is gonna be great, and then nobody listens to the track. And for the ones that I basically didn't care that much and just released them, then suddenly they become huge. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this track. Nothing special. In terms of production stuff I use all the time. If you listen carefully to my other tracks, you will find the same low brass, the same like low cello or whatever it is, horns, strings, drums. I pretty much always use the same ones. So yeah, I hope you guys like this. I will be doing some more track breakdowns in the future. So if you want to see a specific track, just like type it in the comments. And yeah, that's it for now.